The other people, I hope that I don't forget them, because there's so many people. There was my neighbor that told me to watch where I was going before I crossed the street, and that saved my life a couple of times. He always knew when I was going to cross the street, and he always would come out, and he would always help me. And, well, where I grew up in the Bay Area, I think. I don't remember where I grew up, but if I did grow up in the Bay Area, then it was probably about a couple of hours from here. What I find really interesting about California's highways is that they're not like Dallas, Texas's highways, where they interlap and intercross, and it's hard to find your way around. It's like going on a roller coaster, except you're only doing 65 miles an hour in Texas. And then here, our freeways, there's only really two of them, Highway 50 and Highway 80, and I-5, Interstate 5. What's interesting about 80 is that it's Business 80 and it's also Highway 80, two separate entities, but it's 2 in 1 nonetheless. And Highway 80, from what I know of, Highway 80 starts off in Newcastle Road, 193, Penryn, Horseshoe Bar Road, Sierra College, Rockland Road, Lincoln, 65, Atlantic Street, Eureka Road, Douglas, Riverside, Auburn, Antelope, Greenback, Madison, and then you come to the split of 80. I'm not too familiar with Highway 80, as I mostly travel Business 80. I am going to now tell you about the Business 80 exits. I'm going to take a break of those who've influenced my life and just talk to you right now about the Business 80, because I feel that pertains to us more, since that is local and in our area. The first exit upon entering Business 80 Loop. By the way, there is a loop at the end of Business 80. You have Watt Avenue, Fulton, another street, and I know that you keep going on Business 80, and you can get off on 160, which is actually 12th Avenue. Arden Way is right before that. Arden Way goes directly to Arden Fair Mall. But 12th Street, Canterbury, I believe, the hotel right next to it. And then you go in 12th and come up to C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Those are the names of the streets. There's no and between Y and Z. I just said that. Like the song that we all sang growing up, you know. And so if you go from 80 over to 50, which is the parallel of 80 in most ways, we can start off at the exit up in Placerville. I might miss some exits, as I have not driven that highway in quite some time, but if we start up at Placerville, we'll go ahead and skip down to El Dorado Hills. You have El Dorado Hills, then you have Cameron Park, Cambridge. Go down a little further and pass some, keep going. You're going to come to Folsom, and which is a coincidence because the town of Folsom is in that same location. And if you continue approximately a mile, you will come to Hazel Avenue, which is the exit after that exit. And then past Hazel Avenue, you're going to come to, I want to say Sunrise, but I don't quote me on this as I am not familiar with this territory. Sunrise Avenue. Bradshaw, there's one before Bradshaw, though. Bradshaw, and then you got Watt and 56th and 65th Street, and UC Davis is up there off of 16th Street and somewhere. And when I first drove on Highway 50, I remember that I was with my mom and my papa, and I was getting familiar with the area. Now that I've driven it a few more times, I know it a little bit better. Business 80 runs through Roseville, Carmichael, and I believe the beginning of North Highlands. From what I know, this is all just me talking to you right now, you getting to know me. I'm sure you have many questions for me. But from what else I can say, I would like to also not just talk to you about Highway 50 and 80 and the towns that are off each exit, though that is important. I would like to also remind you or tell you of some things that we already know. I would like to talk to you about what I think of the schools in general. I think that they start off at kindergarten, sometimes pre-kindergarten, and they go up to 6th grade, and you have teachers in between that. That's how the school system is structured. And the person that started the school structuring system, I don't know who that is. Maybe it was back on the prairie when the Pilgrims first came over and we partake of food with them. But for now, we'll just stick to the school after 6th grade, because I don't know any history of kindergarten through 6th grade. Lots of good times and good memories come to my mind of being a child. After 6th grade, as we all know, we go to 7th grade, and my 7th grade year was nice. I had friends, and I learned some history in 7th grade, and I walked to school most days in 7th grade. And then after 7th grade, I went to 8th grade. And 8th grade was just like 7th grade, but a year up above that. And pretty much the same people went to that school with me. And then we all, after 8th grade, we went to 9th grade.